Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's webinar presentation on Family and Consumer Sciences. My name is Monica Conforti. I'm Assistant Dean here in the School of Education, and today I'm joined by Marcia Iverson, our Graduate Program Director, and Ellen Palazzo, one of our course instructors. If you have questions throughout today's presentation, you can type them into the left side of your screen. We'll mostly be addressing those concerns and questions towards the close of the program, but feel free to ask as they come to mind. Without further ado, I will introduce and get started with our presenters. You will receive a copy of this PowerPoint and recording after the presentation.
Hello, I'm Ellen Palazzo, and I will start by giving you some background to help you understand what family and consumer sciences is about. Family and Consumer Sciences empowers students with 21st century skills to be successful in our socially and economically diverse world. This is a subject area that many people are not aware even exists in our schools. The unique focus is on family, health, and relationships, and it ensures that all students are prepared for college and career, and beyond that, to manage their personal and professional lives. New York State has mandated Family and Consumer Sciences for all middle school students. The middle school level Family and Consumer Science course, which is mandated, is called Home and Career Skills. And the name defines and explains what the course is about. So it helps students develop personal skills and management skills, and then begin to explore and focus on their interests, their skills, and their potential career possibilities. In addition to the middle school program, students have the opportunity to complete extensive course offerings at the high school level as well. The FACS curriculums, FACS, Family and Consumer Sciences, the acronym FACS, integrates Common Core standards in authentic experiential environments. The classrooms are active. It's an applied academic model, very student-centered. Students are engaged. They learn by doing in many cases. The subject matter is relevant. This provides the opportunity to push students to achieve and to raise and reach higher levels of rigor. There's a shortage of family and consumer science educators in New York State and in nearby states as well, additionally across the country. At the high school level, FACS teach a variety of courses, including fashion, culinary, child development, child psychology, education, nutrition, among others. In that middle school program, many of these topic areas are included in theme-based instruction. Now, Marcia Iverson will talk with you about content requirements for a license in Family and Consumer Sciences.
Good afternoon. I'm Marcia Iverson, the Program Director for Family and Consumer Sciences and Business Education here at Hofstra. Because of the wide range of courses that Family and Consumer Sciences teachers teach, as Ellen just mentioned, this program is really a good opportunity for those with bachelor's degrees in a variety of specializations to enter. For instance, business, family studies, public policy, health and wellness, culinary arts, food service, fashion design, elementary ed, child psychology, clothing and textiles, a variety of majors at the undergraduate level. As with every master's degree program, there are content requirements, because remember, this is a master's of family consumer sciences education. So it presupposes that at the undergraduate level, you have the content areas covered. Many of you who are interested in the program may not have all of them. We call those, any that you're missing, undergraduate deficiencies, which is the list that's up on the screen right now. You do not have to take these undergraduate deficiencies at Hofstra. In fact, you can take them at any college, undergraduate college, any community college, even online. And they don't have to be taken or satisfied before you start the program, but rather before you finish the program. Okay, so that's really an important piece. So the variety or the areas that's a total of 36 semester hours or 36 credits, but it has to include child development and human development, interpersonal, family or career studies, nutrition, health and wellness, food science and food prep, business management, marketing, entrepreneurship and consumer studies, fashion, clothing and textiles, interior design and environmental studies, and early childhood education, childhood or adolescent education. So you see there's a huge variety. That's because those are all pieces that FACS teachers could possibly teach. By the way, we should probably have started off by saying, if you remember taking home economics when you were in high school, that's what FACS is. They've just changed the name to protect the innocent. But at any rate, those are the content required. And where it says 3 to 6 semester hours, it's a total of 36. So let's say you were a marketing major. Obviously, you're going to have 6 in that area. I'm presuming you might have to take a food science or food production course. As long as the content equals 36 hours, you're in good shape. Okay, so our program is 37 credits. Within that 37 credit master's program, master's of science program in family and consumer sciences, 100 hours of observation and participation are done before student teaching. You will absolutely know what you're in for. You will know what the area includes, and you will have a lot of experience with fabulous teachers in observation and participation in the classroom. It includes 2 of the courses are online, the rest are face-to-face. One of the nice things about our program, we call it, worker friendly, because the classes during the fall and the spring only meet once a week from either 4:30 to 6:20 or 6:30 to 8:20. Therefore, if you come from 4:30 to 8:20, you could take 6 credits in one night. And therefore, you can continue to work at your, at a job until student teaching, obviously. We have small classes. What really is unique about Hofstra's program, which, by the way, is one of the few family and consumer sciences prep programs in existence in New York State. Thank you. But ours prepares you not only for certification for FACS, which is a K12 certification, but it also, you will have an extension on that certification to be a work-based learning coordinator. For those of you who are not familiar right now with the CDOS credential for special needs students with special needs, every school is recommended to have a work-based learning coordinator, so it certainly makes your credentials much broader by having that certification. We have financial aid, obviously. There's merit-based some scholarship money available. And there is certainly support here for NTPA, as well as the preparatory tests that exist for all pre-service teachers. The list here are the 37 credits. You will have courses on perspectives for educational practice, development for learning in childhood and adolescence, obviously general methods of teaching. Every person in New York State needs a special education course. Ours includes that. The 2 online required work-based learning courses, a literacy course, and then 6 credits of methods in family and consumer sciences, both curriculum and instructional patterns. By the way, our professors, Ellen is one of the FACS professors, and I do some of the teaching as well. We have many years of practical experience, probably more than I want to admit to, but many years of practical experience teaching, and obviously participation and observation in the classroom. Monica, you're going to now, hopefully, outline the process for applying to Hofstra.
Sure. So all materials for application are going to be submitted online to Hofstra. So all grad students will be logging in and creating their account at hofstra.edu/grad-apply. And you have the unique opportunity to actually be reviewed for an admission decision using unofficial copies of your past transcripts. So essentially using this system, everywhere that you're uploading information, they'll ask again for something to upload for proof. So again, what's your name? What program are you interested in? Of course, it's the MSED in Family and Consumer Sciences. It will ask you where have you gone to college and any other post-secondary institutions. That means if you potentially transferred from a community college or maybe you did college level work in high school, the more information that you provide to the system, the more helpful. So if you went to, let's just say, SUNY New Paltz for undergraduate, you would indicate the dates, what you studied, and then you would upload a transcript, and then do the same for all other institutions. We are looking for a minimum GPA of 2.75 cumulatively, as well as in the various content areas. And again, this is a minimum GPA, though directors are going to be looking at your materials certainly in a holistic way. So if you don't meet this minimum, we still welcome you to apply, and at the interview will be a great time to talk more about your other areas of potential. Another thing that's required for this program is we noted here some initial certificates. So for the MSED, it's actually not required. That would be if you were looking for the WorkBased Learning extension. A statement of purpose is also needed, and that it's really an open-ended piece to talk a little bit about why you're interested in pursuing FACS, why you're interested in Hofstra's program, and what led you to apply. So it's the only open-ended piece of the application, and we welcome a variety of formats. Most are around the 1.5 to 2 page realm. And it's, again, why you're interested. Why will you be a great teacher? Why will you be a great FACS teacher? And why would Hofstra want to hear from you? There's also a space for professional references, and this is also done in a unique fashion. We'll ask that you include 2 email contacts for references, and then Hofstra sends out those requests on your behalf. So for example, your reference might get an email that says, Jane Smith has indicated that you will be a professional reference. Here are all the prompts for filling this out. Here's who you might call for help. So it's nice that Hofstra is the kind of the middleman between this process. This is done, again, to ensure that letters are received directly from your references rather than from any sort of mail or email. And if your references have questions, Hofstra, again, will work with them. So notably across all these are what the minimum requirements are. You'll notice in the application that there's many other sections, but a GRE score or any standardized tests are not currently required, though you can certainly upload additional documents. Maybe you have a portfolio that you're very proud of or an example of relevant work that you've done. You're welcome to upload that to the application. And again, this might be a space where when Professor Iverson is reviewing, if she wants more information, you can always upload this onto the back back end. We've noted here that applications for fall and spring are accepted on a rolling basis, though the earlier the better. The sooner that you apply, the sooner you get an admissions decision, the sooner you can structure your course schedule, and the sooner you can find out more specifically about financial aid. Again, we encourage applicants to apply. In your offer letter, you'll generally see what merit-based scholarships you are awarded. And as an aspiring teacher who's looking for your very first teacher certification, or for those who are looking for an extension, there are certain types of loan forgiveness programs that you specifically are eligible for. And these loan forgiveness opportunities generally are incentives to work in different types of districts. And together, there's several programs that can add up to quite a bit of funding for your graduate studies. We do encourage all to file a FAFSA if you're eligible to do so. This is for domestic students. And this is going to be your measure of what you would qualify for on a need-based basis. And again, after you're accepted to the program, you're welcome to contact me to work together to see what other options are there out there for aspiring teachers, what resources should you inquire through. And again, there's quite a bit of funding out there to incentivize becoming a teacher and being flexible with where you take on your first or second position. So in sum, that's what the application looks like at Hofstra. Again, you'll be more than welcome to inquire about specifics about that should you choose to apply.
Before we go to your questions, Ellen would like to speak about the various kinds of programs that the high schools might include in FACS.
There's a good number of high schools that are on Long Island, for example, and upstate New York also, that have developed child development and human services programs. Not only are the students interested in child development, they're really interested in psychology and working with children in many, many different fields. So it's a broad-based program that might start with human development, and adolescent psych will be included in it as well as child development and psychology. And then courses that relate to caring for children in different settings, education. So many of the high school programs have developed a continuum, a program of study, where students in culmination, their capstone is running an early childhood center or some kind of an educational program. So students get hands-on experience. It may be an early childhood center, and then they also have the opportunity to do exploratory internships where they work with students in other settings as well. So they really get to get a feel for the field of education and experience development of humans from early on through even the high school level. Another very populous area that has been developed is culinary. And many schools at this point are putting together programs of study that focus on hospitality and culinary, so even a broader focus, and students again study the hands-on components of food preparation and nutrition, but they also in that learn about business, about operating a food establishment, about operating a safe kitchen. They may along the way also get some credentials related to safe food handling as well as other things. And these kinds of programs, many of them also offer the opportunity for students to link their interest with college level and do some college coursework as well.
Sure, so what you see on the screen now is a quote that we find very relevant to the field. And as you take a look at that, again, you're welcome to begin typing in questions on the left-hand side of your screen, and we will get to those as time allows. Again, you can feel free to ask questions about any of the content we've covered here or about Hofstra graduate study in general. And again, we look forward to those questions, so feel free to start typing in. I see that we do already have a few, so let's get started here.
Yes, your first question is, do high schools have FACS programs, and if so, what do they include? Ellen just mentioned several of them. As we mentioned, at the middle school level, family, home and career skills is a required course, and it's really an opportunity for every student to get life skills to be able to be successful in life. And then they develop an interest in taking other courses. The nice thing about FACS is that the teachers can develop courses in a variety of areas. Fashion design, clothing and textiles, culinary, as Ellen mentioned. The range is huge. Right, and fashion as well. Where do you take the undergraduate courses and requirements that you might be missing? Those deficiencies. Again, you can take them anywhere, either online. We have an opportunity, and also at even community colleges online. We can assist you in that area.
Another opportunity that I didn't mention earlier is programs in fashion. So starting with a course that might be entitled Clothing and Textiles or Clothing and Fashion, students have the opportunity to explore their interests, to begin to do some design work. Many of these programs will also integrate illustration, and those opportunities, draping, tailoring, and design, and then also can explore the fashion industry and other career opportunities in the field of fashion and in business.
Okay, we have a question. Do you accept transfer credits from a master's program in education at a different university? Yes, Hofstra University accepts up to 12 credits of graduate coursework toward the master's from another institution. So we certainly would be willing to look at that. And I encourage anybody, especially if they're somewhat local, to come in and meet with me. Marsha Iverson is the program director, so that I can, even lay out the program. 37 credits. You often get the question, how long is it going to take me? Well, it depends. It's 37 credits. The last 9 credits, the capstone, is 6 credits of student teaching and a co-requisite. So if you take those away, 37 less 9, it's really, 28 credits. 36 credits less than 9. Right. And it can go fairly quickly. 9 credits is a full-time graduate student. So it is, many students do it, start in September, do all their coursework in 1 year, the fall semester, the spring semester, maybe a summer course or 2, and then they student teach in the fall. So in a year and a half, you're in the classroom. We do offer some courses in the summer, not many, but again, we can tailor make the schedules to meet your needs and desires for how fast you want to get through. There's a question about how many FACS teachers are usually in one school, and I'm going to guess that question has an ancillary one: is how likely is it that I'm going to get a job? And that is a really good question, and the answer is great, because every one of our FACS graduates has been placed in a position, 100% placement. It doesn't mean, I'm not going to say 1 or 2 of them aren't in leave replacements, but they are working in family and consumer sciences, and we're really, really proud of that. We also had several jobs this year that we could not fill. I already know of about 4 or 5 jobs for September that I'm hoping to fill. So that there is definitely a shortage of FACS teachers and a real need for certified FACS educators.
To extend that, if you understand that the middle school Home and career skills is mandated, meaning it's a required course for every middle school student that helps you to understand the broad scope of the need. Right? And with so few programs offering the opportunity for programs for teacher preparation, there is a projected shortage as well down the road. So not only an existing shortage, but a greater projected shortage. And this is really a very key course. New York State has very recently passed what they call a pathways proposal. The essence of that is that every student will be identifying a pathway of study that interests them. Much of the base exploration work can be done in this home and career skills classroom, which would lay the basis for students to make decisions about the direction of their high school programs. So you may know it as a career plan or career exploration or personal inventory, but those are the kinds of experiences that students do get in that home and career skills middle school program. So you have the opportunity to work with young children, middle school children, and help them to understand what they're good at, what they like doing, and where their future may take them, and then help them to lay some of those plans and move forward to the next level if you're teaching in that middle school level.
Good. The quote that's on the screen right now, if you look at the last sentence, young people who want to earn more than minimum wage and go out into the world without new survival skills that they've uncovered in their research are crippled for life. They're simply unprepared to be active, informed citizens. And this is really where family and consumer sciences makes the difference. Kids are prepared for life, for successful life, and for survival in the world that they will be facing. There's a question about what's the benefit of obtaining a K-12 certification. Well, the benefit is that you can teach courses anywhere from kindergarten through 12th grade. And in family and consumer sciences, obviously, that includes the middle school program. But quite honestly, again, you may have a program in child development where you are teaching the kids to go into elementary schools in the district. And therefore, you can supervise them in the elementary district because you have a K-12 certification.
They also may have some special programs related to nutrition or wellness in an elementary district, and this would enable you to teach that as well. Something else we didn't mention is, again, with the pathways, and there's opportunities for students to explore interest and discover different things. One science course that is often taught by a family and consumer science person is food science. So that is an opportunity to bring the science into a hands-on environment and help students gain Regents credit for science as well.
So you mentioned work-based learning before. What is that? Work-based learning is an extension on any 7 through 12 certification, which FACS is, that, and it could either be guidance or any area that has relationship to 7 through 12 or teaching through 7 through 12. It allows somebody to go in and develop jobs, internships for students, to go in and supervise them, to give them credit for the work-based learning. That's what work-based learning is. And I did mention that with the advent of the CDUS credential, every school should have a work-based learning coordinator. CDUS, thank you, is the Career Development and Occupational Studies credential. It is an alternative to what used to be a local diploma or a non-Regents diploma. Now every single kid gets a Regents diploma or a Regents diploma with distinction. But students with special needs for whom passing 5 Regents exams is really not realistic, they can get a CDUS or Career Development Occupational Studies credential, which identifies that they've had 216 hours of work-based career development instruction, and of that 216, at least 54 needs to be work-based learning experiences. So this certification allows you to develop those, to supervise them, and to teach the kids in the program about career development and occupational studies. We also have a question about, do you coordinate field placement student teaching for students? Yes, that's another one of Hofstra's, I think, real pluses, is that it is up to us to find the placements for all of the hours of observation as well as student teaching. We find the placements for you in the appropriate areas, and they can be either near Hofstra or near your home. However, the really nice thing is that they won't be where you went to school or where you live. And personally, I think that's a great idea, because this business, as many of them, is networking. You need to meet and connect with as many people in as many schools as possible so that they recognize how amazing you are in terms of future hiring. I would love to meet with any of you who want to meet with us, and you certainly can call, I think it's on the next slide, 463-5768 to make an appointment with either me or Ellen. And as I hope you got the impression that this is a program we really care about, and quite honestly, take it personally to make sure that every one of our students is working at the end of the program. And I'm presuming you agree that that should be the goal of any educational program.
Absolutely. Before we sign off fully, I just want to ask both of our presenters today to talk a little bit about what they love about their career. What do they love about having experience in facts and all the opportunities that it has afforded them in the past? So, Ellen, you want to start?
Sure. Great question, Monica. I don't know that came across here, so I think it's perfect to be able to speak about it. Family and consumer sciences is a wonderful area to teach. You really get to explore and work with students in a very personal way, and most students are very excited to be in your classroom because they're busy doing and learning things that excite them, that they can use in their daily lives, that they can relate to the real world. They explore their interests. As Marcia said earlier, you have flexibility in the way you put your instruction together. Yeah, of course, there's a curriculum, but that curriculum gives you the opportunity to really assess the students that you're teaching and make decisions about how you're going to deliver that instruction. And today we hear so much about assessments. Much of the assessment that's done in family and consumer sciences is performance-based. It's not the kinds of tests that we're hearing so much pushback from. Instead, students show what they can do and are evaluated based on that. And because they're excited to do it, many of them excel. And sometimes students who are not interested in the classic type of instruction and evaluation, this gives them the opportunity to shine because it hooks them in.
Marcia, any 2 cents here on your joys of having experience as a facts educator?
Yes, I've never really taught in the facts area. My original area was business education, but I have supervised FACS for many, many years. And I can honestly say that I had, to echo what Ellen is saying, you see students who thrive in this area that, find their passion. We have actually 2 or 3 former students that we worked with who now are FACS teachers.
Oh, yes.
So, there's lots of opportunities in that way too to make a real difference in kids' lives. When you walk into a FACS classroom and see every kid in an authentic learning environment, doing authentic tasks and being so turned on, you can't help but be excited. So I think it would be wonderful for all of you who are sitting here and looking at this to give this a second, third, and fourth look and make the decision to make a difference in kids' lives.
If only all of you could see the smiles here on our presenters' faces. We thank you so much for joining us today, for exploring this critical field that's certainly in high demand. And again, we welcome and encourage you to contact both presenters, myself, Monica Conforti. My extension's not here on the screen, but it's 516-463-5781. I'd be happy to make an appointment with you as well to go over more general application components. But till then, again, we're so glad that you joined us. You'll be receiving a copy of this presentation as well as the slides to review at a later date. And with that, we thank you and hope you enjoy the upcoming weekend.